Welcome, everyone. This is Mike G. Welcome to the Vast Podcast. We have another one. We have Miss Jessica Perez from the Perez Collective LLC company, CEO, writer, coach, motivational speaker, the boss. How are you, Miss Perez?
I am good. It's kind of like, am I all those things? What? Yes, I am. Thank you, Mike. I love it.
You're welcome. We actually got the time now. We got it. It was hard. Everyone, it was hard to get her. She was like, I don't got time. Okay, we can do it. All right, we do it. It's all you. Welcome. And it's good to have you on. It's a nice Sunday afternoon, and we're keeping it rolling. So, like I said, everyone, she has her own company. You want to give an insight of what you've done and how did you start? That's what I'm curious. I'm ready for this one. I've been ready.
So listen. Where to begin? I think, like you're right. Start at the beginning. Okay, beginning. I come from a really awesome family background where they told me some important things, like, some key values. One, hard work. Hard work moves you forward, right? So if you work hard, get a good education. That was my dad. Got to get a good education, Jessica, because my parents never went to college. So I was blessed to not only go to college, but get it paid for as a student athlete.
Wow.
As a student athlete. Yep. Okay, you ready for this one? At 4'11", hence the J-Lo.
Whoa. Okay.
You get it? So my friend is 6'3", we're gonna stay next to each other and be like, what? But it's all good. So I come from that space where education matters, get a good, and then you're going to get a good job, right? A good job with benefits, a good job with a pension. Work 40 years, right? Work 40 years to retire on what, 40% of your salary. Like, there's all these things that we think we know until you're actually in it. So I was in that space. I worked a traditional, like there's nobody's business. I was an educator. So I was a phys ed teacher, athletic director, as a coach early on at the age of 22. I started coaching. And I coached for, almost 25 years. Oh, wow. Right here shows I'm older than 25, right?
I got a couple.
You got a little bit. But listen, it's way cheaper and it's so natural. So yes, at the end of the day, I go through this process, right, of doing all the things, like laying the foundation for, I know what's going to help me long-term, but I wasn't as happy as I thought I'd be in the traditional settings.
Correct.
Right? Time wasn't my time. So how I began was on that journey of making sure that, yes, I worked as an educator. Yes, all those things. And I'm like, I want something more. So I landed with a friend of mine. She's the one who introduced me to it. But I ended up working in the city as a Parks and Rec manager. Like I worked my way up. I got all the way to a manager and I thought, this is it. Next step, I'm going to be a director. Like this is good. Except some things started happening. Like, I needed to do more with less, and my salary stayed the same, and my responsibilities kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And in those moments, I was like, I'm not happy. Like I was taking 2 phones to work and things like that. And I was like, right? A person called my work phone. And I'm just like, this is not for me. This is not for me. And so I made a decision. It was back in 2014-ish. And I said, you know what? I don't know if this is the right path. I don't know if I want to stay on this journey. And that's when I ripped a Band-Aid, went to work in a nonprofit. And then who's to tell me this? I would have never thought this, but 6 months in, they tell me I'm not the right fit. And I'm out.
I've been there.
So I leave the job that I thought was awesome, although it wasn't the right job for me, but I was in the right path, right? Moving forward, getting all the things. So I leave the city, go to work in a nonprofit. They tell me you're not the right. And so now here I am after 6 months going, what's next? And at that point, I made some decisions. I was like, you know what? I thought about going back to work in education. I thought about going back to work in the city, corporate, whatever. And I'm like, why don't I try to do something for me once in my life, just for me? Yeah. And that's where the Perez Collective began to be born. And I was like, let's start laying some different foundations, right?
So you started in 14. So you've been doing this for that long? Wow.
Yeah. And so here's what I've done is, at first it was kind of like a side thing. Like, let me do this on the side. So JP Coaching in Life, that's my website. That's kind of like where it began to just really grow. And I thought of like, who am I? Well, first of all, I'm a catalyst for myself and for other people. Like I understand what it means to rip the Band-Aid and to do something completely out of your comfort zone. right?
Yeah.
I've collaborated with lots of people, right? And you know what those collaborations or partnerships come from? It's from word of mouth. People understand
Wow.
that I deliver. When you ask me to do something, I'm going to deliver it. Like you and I, it took us a minute to get here, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to not get on this podcast, right?
Yeah.
So yes, I'm a catalyst, but I'm also a coach. I've coached many young athletes. I've coached teams. I understand that, first of all, to be a great coach, you got to listen to other people, not
Correct.
tell them what they need, but try to help them discover what it is they need. That's all about what I do is I help people uncover and discover what their next paths could be in lots of areas. Because if
Okay.
you look at some of those collaborations, they're like Baycare, which I've
Yeah,
never
I
been in a
saw
hospital.
that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not in the hospital, but I understand the needs of someone who serves. Nurses and
Yeah.
doctors serve people a lot, put their own
Yeah.
needs on the side burner, just like what I do, right? We all do if we're nurturers. And so
Mhm.
having those conversations, and so then you can begin to bridge the gap and coach them up and give them some inspiration, right?
Mhm. That is
So
true.
yeah,
So,
so being a catalyst,
before we go further, where do you find your inspiration? How did you start that? Like how? Like you're one person.
I,
You left a 9 to 5,
yeah.
and then you're like, screw this, I'm gonna do my own thing. So before we go further, I'm curious where you found that dynamics of what, like, because I've seen here, like we just saw, you have a microphone, you're ready to rock and roll. So wow.
You want to go back to when I was about 5 years old?
Oh, you
We'll go
got
way
all
back. We'll go way back. So listen, I was a middle child, number one. I have an older sister who's 7 years older. I have a younger sister who's about a year and a half. And my mom laughs about it to this day and says, you're lucky. I'm lucky that you actually survived because I would put you in the high chair with a bowl of food and say, I hope she gets it in her mouth while I go help the other kid. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I became super independent really quickly
yeah.
because there's only like 19 months between us, right? Between my younger
Mhm.
sister and I. And the other sister is, 7 years older. She's doing her thing, second, third grade, right? So really it was figured out. And so I've been a figure it out kind of person, super independent from the time I was super young. My
Okay.
sister was 12. I was 5. My mom was ill. And my sister went to my mom and said, hey, don't worry. If anything happens to you, Jessica can run the family. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so I tell you, it was something that I had, and I believe it was instilled in me from my parents by saying, you can do it. Like
Mhm.
giving me the confidence from that young age that I can take care of myself. I can do things. I can make the bed. You need help with that. I'll do the floor, mom. Like I'll do the chores. I'll mow the lawn. I figured it out. You know what I'm saying? I think that when you have that kind of innate thing inside
Mm.
of you, I think we all have it. We just don't always pull the layers back to discover it.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we
true.
all have it inside. And I think becoming a coach has helped me uncover that for young people and for adults to say, wait a minute, no. You have the ability. You've just never been told you do.
Correct, because we've been shunned, and I think the society shuns us, and we don't want to hear the negativity. Or some
Correct.
people might be lazy, or some people just might be scared, might like get out of their comfort zone to explore what they're really capable of doing and going forward and be happy. To me, work, it's not going to be perfect, but you got to be kind of happy. If you're
Yeah,
not happy, you don't want you just lay in bed. You're like, shit, I gotta get up at 6 a.m. I gotta deal with this.
I agree. I agree. And I
And
also believe that when you have the right people surrounding you, feeding you all that really good positive energy and positive stuff, I'm telling you right now, I could walk into any room right now and command the room because I have the ability to. I know I can. I don't care. I don't care what their background is, doctors, attorneys, whatever, right? Millionaires, it does like that. They're people.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that's the thing. So I've coached some people in public speaking. They're
Okay.
like, I can't get
Okay.
in front of a room. I said, why? Oh no, what are they going to think? I said, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? Because that's what matters. What they think does not matter at all. And they're like,
Yeah.
and I said, but seriously, what do you think?
Yeah.
Do you have a story to share? Because if you do, let's get out there and tell it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of stories. I just don't know how say it. There's no wrong thing to say if you're super passionate about it. right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm super passionate about health and wellness. My dad
Mhm.
died early, right? And he was a big influence in my life. He was an athlete, he was a coach, he was all those things, right? He
Mhm.
worked for the city, followed in his footsteps for a little bit. Okay, different departments, but can
Yeah.
you know, how about this? How about I go for an interview and my dad's first secretary was in the interview process to hire me. Crazy.
Oh.
That's how tight Tampa is. You know, we're like, woo,
Yeah.
it's close-knit family, right? And
Yeah.
so my point is that, and my dad had been gone 25 years when I went for that interview, 20 years, right? And yet she still remembered my dad and wanted to talk to me about what a great influence he was and the impact. And I said, I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, you're so much like him. I said, because they laid such an imprint, my mom and my dad. My mom is still alive, 88, still alive, leaving those same really indelible kind of marks that you say, I want to
Mhm.
make that person proud.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll step outside of my comfort zone if it means that I'm going to create additional income, or if it means I'm going to surround my family with better people, or I'm
That's
going
right.
to get to go on a trip that I win because I'm a part of another company that has incentives. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm going to do that because it moves my family forward. Like, who doesn't want to move your family forward?
That is true. That is true. And I think, I'm the same way. My parents were military, and I can talk in front of a million people. It doesn't bother me. Like I was talking to you earlier, it's just the dynamic of people, a 6'3" dude come in with a little education, with a little brightness on his shoulder. It's like, we've never seen this because they're five. Some smart people are short, it's
Yes,
just an image that we have in society. Oh, the smart guy, it's a little guy. It's
it's
never the
the
big guy. The big
intimidation.
guys.
It's the intimidation that you come. And guess what? I get told I intimidate people too. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but your
I,
energy, I can see that. I can
and
see
that's
that.
exactly it. They're like, you walk in a room and we're like, oh, she's here. I'm like, yep, I'm here. What's up? Let's have a
Yeah,
conversation. And
yeah.
some people don't want to have conversations. They want to just sit on the wall.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, why? Don't we want to be connected? And that's my third piece, right? I'm a catalyst. I'm a coach. I'm a connector. I want to
Yes.
connect folks. I want folks to feel connected because I believe when we feel connected to something, whether it's people, things, health, wellness, travel, whatever the thing that makes you kind of whole, then you can become your best self.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're your best self, people want to hire you. So we got to find your best self, right?
That is true. But people hold themselves back as well, and they get beat once, or they go through a bad experience, and then that stops them from going forward or up the hill. And just, and I understand that we're human. Even me, I've been in bad experience in workplaces, and I'm like, golly. But you got to get over that hill, and that's the problem.
100%.
We're too comfortable as a society. We have supermarkets in every corner. We have everything. We're kind of spoiled in a way
Yeah.
that. But you break your company breaks that.
Yeah.
Breaks
So
that
so the
wall.
Perez Collective, I was trying to come up with a name, right? And my sister and I are starting to do some works together. That's where the collective comes from, right?
Mhm.
Not only myself, but my family, right? I pull her resources. She's an intuitive. She is someone who understands energy better than most.
Mhm.
Um, to me, she's like a heartfelt healer. Like when she talks, you're just like, oh, her energy is 100% opposite of mine. She's like this.
Yeah. Okay.
Calming, peaceful, harmony, all those words you think of her, right?
Well,
I'm like, I need that to balance me because
yeah.
my energy's on point. It's here
Mhm. Yeah.
and hers is here.
Dynamic. Yeah.
And then when you put the two of us together to solve an issue or solve a problem or get to, all of a sudden it's like
Yeah.
we're right in the groove, right?
It starts
And
flowing.
so, mhm. And so that's what I thought of when I thought of collective. Like, how can we, not only as a family, but I'm pooling other resources, other folks who do want to collaborate, to work together, whether it is on, like I just got back from a really cool, this was back in December, I guess it was, working with a agency down in South Florida, Palm Beach Gardens, city of
Okay.
Palm Beach Gardens, right? Here's a government agency asked me to be a consultant. And I was like, what?
That's not bad.
Right?
You're doing it.
And so it was an awesome experience because I could take all of my past experiences, bubble them up and say, how can these experiences help you all
Mhm.
in going down whatever journey that you want? And what they wanted was to come up with a vision statement, a value statement, They wanted to be able to understand who they were as a department and how they could work internally with each other. And so we kind of pulled some things back. One of the best experiences I had, let alone what they said that they had. But that's what I love about it, is it's a two-way street. Great coaches understand it's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street.
Because some people, some people think it's a one-way street when they're in charge or they're in control of the room, or, they're controlling the masses is one way. They really don't give time to hear the other people speak and understand the subject matter of what's really the problem, So, I understand that. And that's where you started at 5. Now let's forward to, you started the collective. How is that working now from 14 to now? I mean, that's a few years already.
Yeah, like I said, well, you saw that list of individuals, right? That I've been able to really partner with and be selective. I'm in a space where I only want to work with people who I can vibe off their energy to, right? So I'm looking at some of these folks like Positive Coaching Alliance. They're a nonprofit that I'm a certified trainer with them, and I go in to high schools, youth sports. This is my passion project. Hello. Like, my passion project is me going in and having conversations with young people, utilizing their content. I got no problem with that. But guess what? Jessica Perez is the magic in the room, just like some of our other trainers who go in and share their stories to connect the dots with these young people. Talking about things like, hey, the scoreboard is awesome, but what about all the other stuff? Like, how much effort did you put in? What about learning? Did you learn anything through the process of sports? And I know you are big time. You're a big guy. I'm assuming you played something.
Baseball. Right? That was my thing.
You played baseball. So look, baseball is an interesting journey, just like softball was for me, right? Like if you bat 3 for 10, you're not bad. 3 out of 10 is pretty good. But if you're a football player who's trying to throw passes and you complete 3 out of 10, they're taking you out and you're sitting the bench, right? So I say baseball is a hard sport. It's a hard sport. You get a little ball, just like softball, little ball getting thrown at you big. Okay. So there's so many life lessons that get learned. And so that's one that I'm like, I want them in my space. I want that Positive Coaching Alliance in my space, right? Then there's others that I've sought out, like Palm Beach Gardens, seek them out, right? Wealth, health, and wellness to me is something that has been a huge part of my Perez Collective too, okay? Because I believe that if we're not healthy in our long-term life, okay, if we're not healthy, then we don't have the time to spend with anybody, which is why I like to spend the time with my mom. She's pretty healthy right now, okay? So I've partnered with a wellness company where we sell really great products. They're all natural, all the kind of good things, called LifeVantage. What I love about that is it's publicly traded, and it's a company that I can align with because the people who are there all care about health and wellness. They also care about helping Jessica move forward. So can I tell you that some of my speaking gigs have come out of this community of people because they're like, I've seen you on stage talking for them. Can you do this for my company over here? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And so that's how Baycare happened, to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay. That's big. That's big.
Right. A nurse who's in this LifeVantage family, who's all about health and wellness, taking some natural products, saw me in front of the room and said, hey, my company's looking. And I'm like, who's your company? Because I don't know. And she's like, oh, Baycare. I said, Baycare. It's kind of a big hospital system. It's like 15 hospitals, right?
Yeah.
And so I was on a 2-year contract with them. Maybe I need to knock on the door and ask him again. But anyway, that was a year ago. But it was on a 2-year contract. But what was great is they were coming out of COVID and they knew they wanted something and they needed somebody to inspire their people. And that's why I was thought of. Someone who can inspire.
So do you work on morale as well? Because I've noticed a lot of work. I've worked for big corporations, big companies,
Correct.
so forth. And I noticed what really falls short on people, they've been there for years, but the morale is so important because you go in there and the room is thick. The air is like, and people are just like, good morning, and it's like, wow, what are these directors and managers doing? But then we have people like you that can come in and fix that. So what is your opinion on that?
100%. I love that opinion. It's the reason why Baycare was looking for someone, right? The chief quality officer said, hey, we're coming out of COVID. Think about that. Being in the healthcare field, coming out of COVID, where that was talk about stress, right?
Correct.
And she's like, we're not going to go in person yet, but I need something. I need someone who can jump off the screen on like a Zoom type format, StreamYard, whatever, and speak to my people in a really motivating way. And I'm like, sure. So we kind of went through a couple topics and we landed on, I was doing a quarterly series that would go on the internet, the intranet for all of their individuals. And that's what was being done. And so can I tell you that I went to the hospital one day for just routine tests, and this woman goes, hey, I recognize your face. I'm like, I'm on your intranet. She's like, oh my God, I just watched you today and you talked about resilience, and I love that topic. And so we came up with some topics about being resilient, and you know what I mean? Because talk about who didn't need to be resilient in that time frame. But I basically just gave them that outside spark and outside energy, and that they matter, that they're worth something. You know, you put here teamreal.lifemanagers.com. Why is my team named Team Real? Man, I came up with that, right? That's Jessica Perez's team. I've got folks all over the world, including in Singapore. I got an awesome dude in Singapore, but so it's a global company. But what I love about it is we came together and said, okay, who do we want to be? It's not Jessica Perez. You know, I wanted it to be something, right, that meant something. And we came up with REAL, and they stand for raw, because we're going to be super important, just like with you, raw lessons, raw conversations. Our products are raw. They're herbal based, right? So it's green tea and milk thistle and turmeric and stuff like that. So they are raw ingredients, right? So raw, right? The E, we're empowered. We want to help empower other people to take back their health, but to also create income, like take back, because when you do network marketing, you can create income. I'm very grateful and blessed with the income that I've made over the last 14 years, because I've done it for 14 now. Okay. Empowered. The A, we are authentic. You're not going to get there's no bull, there's no anything. You want to know authenticity? I'll tell you. I'm not going to say that this thing grew your whatever back. I mean, it's not like that, right? But I am going to be authentic, and I'm going to say, hey, listen, without those products, my mom wouldn't be where she is. And I can let you talk to her if you want, right? Like authentic health, right? And then, so we got REA, and then the L, we are leaders. We're all leaders in our own space. We're leading the way from a health perspective. We're leading our families to better things. We're leaders. So we're raw, empowered, authentic leaders. And so I feel really compelled to recognize that everything that I do, whether it's with JP Coaching and Life, right? That's a part of my Perez Collective. The Team Real for Life Managers is a part of my Perez Collective. See how everything just kind of feeds into helping people be on their best journeys. When I say moving your family forward, I'm really serious about that. It's a mantra that we've kind of embraced, because I think in today's communities, in today's world, our families should matter most.
Yeah, that's
true. They should matter most, right? That's true. And what I do today, I'm hoping is going to help my family long-term, like legacy long-term. So my network marketing business, I can will to my family. So what I've come to my own head is the home that I was able to buy, the home that I live in that serves as a family space, because my mom lives here and the grandkids come over and all the things, then this will continue to be paid for by my willable business that will continue to generate income.
That's true. Right? So what? So no, that's great. I like it. That's what I'm talking about. So what is your challenges, though? I know there has to be challenges.
Challenges are finding other people who are open, who are open to say, "Oh, that's possible." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I can show you my bank account, but that's not what it should be about." You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't show you the check, right? Here's what I've made over the last, it shouldn't be about that. If people really understand what being raw and real and, you know what I mean, and authentic really means, like what I say, it's who I am. I am a trustworthy, authentic individual who's seen it happen for myself, coming from a very traditional background. My best friend even thinks it's crazy. She's like, there's no way. What do you really make, sister? And I'm like, listen, I don't ask you what you make for the city. I don't, but people are so skeptical That's the challenge. Skepticism
Yeah.
in today's world.
That's big. That's big. Yeah.
Skepticism. And I said,
Yeah.
well, you know what? You want to be a skeptic? That's fine. How about you look at my before pictures and my after? Like if you knew me 15 years ago and you see me today, I actually look healthier. Like
Mm-hmm.
my neck isn't full of inflammation.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You know, I am 57, 5'7". Most people don't think so, right?
Very good. Keep it up. Keep
Okay.
it up.
Okay. And I literally just let my hair go about a year and a half ago. And it was not for any other reason than I was tired of going every 3 weeks to get it
Yeah.
dyed. That's how fast my hair grows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The cost is stupid because I'm a
Yeah.
girl.
Big. It's big.
And I looked at my hairdresser and I said, dude, I'm kind of over this. And he said, yeah, I know. I'm going to lose a lot of money right now, aren't I? I said, yes, you are.
At least you're honest.
I told him I was authentic. I tell him like it is. He said,
Yeah.
no problem, Jessica. He goes, this will be all white in about 6 weeks. I said, what?
Yeah.
Sure enough, my hair grew like.
Yeah.
So
I have the
it
same.
was short.
My hair grows fast too, so I have the same
Yeah.
issue. Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to go weekly because I like to look professional. I like to look
No,
clean
of
and
course, of
professional.
course.
I have that island hair,
Yeah.
But I noticed it's like, man, it's almost like $200 or $100 a month or whatever, I'm like,
Right.
oof. So it's like, okay, every other week we can work it out, and
Yeah.
so forth. No, but that's dynamic stuff. But it's doing well. I mean, you've been doing this for years. I mean,
I have
bless.
been.
That's a blessing. So do you help people get into other roles as well, like job seekers and stuff like that?
Yeah.
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 So
I
do
actually
you
do
have
it.
one-on-ones?
Yep. One-on-ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I think. From my perspective, I've helped folks not only from a transition. Think of transition
Mm-hmm.
times, like transitioning from job to job or from different types of careers into others. I think the transition space is a space where I'm really great at. All right.
Mm.
I was great at helping a young athlete go from high school into a collegiate world. And what does that look like? Because it's going to look real different. High school
Mm-hmm.
athlete to a college athlete. You're going to be doing some different things, right? Mom's not going to be there to pack your lunch if
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't get one, right?
Yeah.
So my point is to me, that's where the beauty of things can happen. I'm at a
Okay.
point where I'm super selective of who I want in my space. So yes, can I do one-on-ones? Sure. Okay. But it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
let's
true.
do a discovery call. And I'm like, I can give you about this much in 30 minutes, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we're the right fit.
Mm.
I've been told I wasn't the right fit for something. And I told you, right. And in that space, at first you get like, what? And then you go, you know what? I really wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really
It's just a
wasn't.
shock that somebody told you that,
And at the end of the day, it's recognizing it and saying, but what is my right fit? And then
Yeah.
begin to put the right stuff in place for you to be able to seek the right fit out, and then they seek you out too.
Mm-hmm.
They can seek you out too. I think that attraction thing that they talk about, attracting the right stuff,
Mm-hmm.
when you put
So
out
what
the
is
right
your
energy,
insight?
say that again?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you gotta. How can I put this? You got to be comfortable in your in your surroundings, especially 8 hours a day. You're in and out. You're there years and so forth. Same people, different dynamics of character, so forth and so on. But now, going from one thing, let's say I'm a IT project manager, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about myself, but I like doing analyst or I like marketing. I like doing videos. How I find it. I'm doing my personal journey now. We're getting personal here.
Okay.
I find it where switching, it's crazy because everybody's like, well, this is all your resume says you're in IT, project management, IT specialist, IT analyst, whatever it may be. But now you want to do marketing. Yeah. So why is it so hard to transition to do that?
That's a great question. I think so. Two things. I think one thing is hard to transition for us because we don't know the language for ourselves to bridge into that other space, right?
Mm-hmm.
To bridge into the other space. So an IT analyst, have you done any, think about marketing per se. You got to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Marketing
That's
is
hard.
selling yourself, right?
Yeah.
So own what your strengths are, right? And I say, well, let me go to my strengths. Did you realize? And I would throw a question back out. I understand you think this is a tough transition, but here's what I do know. My passion is in marketing.
Yeah.
Passion is there. You're now going to get a passionate person who wants to dive into marketing with you direct me where you want me to go, and I am all yours. It's like a clean slate. Who wouldn't want somebody like that, right?
Well, okay, that's a great question. So now, my experience, boom, 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 shopping around, I got some work to show, whatever. Yeah, I'm not a director, I'm not a manager of marketing, whatever, but I have the skills, I can do it, so forth and so on. But then no, you don't have that. So one, why are they lacking in training? People don't want to train anymore. I can see that in the workplace. It's weird. They just want you ready to come like a package. Here he is, and so forth. And it's like I'm seeing the change. It's like, nope. It's like, man, sometimes I don't want to do IT anymore. I prefer to do this all day. But, let's be real. I got to pay bills.
You know what I'm finding? It's great when you say that. What I'm finding is more and more jobs are going to people who know people, meaning developing your network. Okay.
That is so true. Yeah.
Hitting all your network and saying, hey, I just sat with a woman who said, yeah, she just got the, I don't know, executive aid for so-and-so, and it's my sister. And I was like, oh, so the sister was the person that she talked to, and then that person hired this person to be, I'm sure there was a bunch of other candidates, but it literally was who knew who. And back in the day, when my dad was around, that is how things operated, right? The handshake. My dad used to say, good handshake, get you anywhere, Jessica, good handshake. And I was like, okay, Dad, good handshake. But right? So I want you to think about that. Who in your network is connected to who? And then it doesn't just have to be one connection. It could be.
And that is true. So let's stay on that subject matter right there.
Yes.
This is another personal thing. What I've seen, the pattern, people don't want to get their hands dirty. People don't want to put their name in there. Oh, I know this. They know they can help you. They know they can get you there, but I don't want to deal with that just in case he screws me over or whatever, or so forth and so on. Makes me look bad. But then I notice a pattern where, that director there, that's my cousin or second cousin, or I know him, that's my dentist's son, or this, that. And I'm like, what am I, ghost here? What's going on? And that's where it starts getting rough, because now we're climbing the mountain. Nobody's giving me a chance, And this is where I see people stop believing in themselves, stop believing in their drive, stop believing in dynamics and the character. And it's just like, I'm just going to stay here for 20 years. And it sucks, because I've experienced that. And it sucks because, let's say we're in Tampa, you're in the same area. Yeah. And the county, everybody knows everybody. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's not giving other people chances. It's crazy. It's like, they'll interview with you, but they already have in their head who they're going to hire. And that's what makes it rough. And that's what makes it tough. And this is crazy. And how do you go as a professional? How do you knock that wall down?
Whew, that's a loaded one, because it is. I'm going to be honest with you. That is not an easy one to answer. Right. Because there are so many variables, right? There are so many variables. I'm a firm believer, and you keep knocking down walls and one's going to fall. One's going to fall.
Okay.
I'm not a one-trick pony. Like, I knock on the one, I get done, and then my feeling gets hurt and I'm done.
Yeah.
There are people who do that. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not one either, but some people
right. Even if it's 3 or 4. And then I go, okay, wait, like, you just connected with me. Here's a perfect example. You just connected with me. So my wheels are already turning as to what it is. That's why on the front end, before we even got on this podcast and we started recording, we started going down this path. I said, what is it that you want? Like, I'd love to hear that, because I am a vast network. I know I am, and I'm not afraid to share and say it's up to that person to either fall or not fall. Right. But that's how I've operated. I'm not saying everybody's like that. So you need to seek and find people who are willing to go out on that limb. Maybe you haven't found them yet in your space. Maybe we think we have them, but we haven't. Right?
Nope. I'm telling you straight up, I have not. People they want to pretend, they want to be cool, they want to hang out. Yeah, yada yada yada. Hey, here's my resume. I'll email you my resume if you know anybody. Hey, what's up? Want to hang out again? Yo, did you get the resume? Yeah. But then, oh, my friend just started here at, blah, blah, ABC Corporation, whatever.
Mhm.
Oh, for real? Yeah, starting at $80, $90, $100, blah, blah, whatever. Oh, yeah, I got him in there. But, or they don't say nothing. But you know they got him in there. It's like, what? How the French fry did you do that? And it sucks. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, man. And once again, it's the persona because 6'3", Latin,
Yeah.
This cool person. I'm an all around person, but it's just, and it sucks because I'm 47. It's the pattern. I've been working for many years, different companies, a professional, and it's just the same old. And it sucks because I want to explore. I want to explore more. I know I'm still young. I'm still good to go, and I just don't understand it. And this falls right in the element. I'm glad we're talking about this. This is great information for everybody out there as well.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, it's a struggle. And it's like, when is it going to change? Because like you said, back in the day, like your father said, a handshake will get you far. A nice smile, a nice little conversation, a little loyalty, a nice little report. Okay, you've done this. Oh, okay, you have a nice little track record. But nowadays, it's like, yeah, okay. Listen, I know a guy. So
my dad used to say that all the time. I know a guy, and it'd be like, hey, I need my car fixed. My dad's, I got a guy.
Got a guy.
That was him. He was like, he's from New York, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, am I? I've been here. I've been here for 20 something years, but I'm from New York too. And it's still there. But it's like back in the day, I got a guy. Oh, you got a guy? You can fill this position? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Give people chances. What we're falling short right now is people are not giving chances. People are just taking their little buddies or whoever their buddy's buddy, or their cousin's buddy, but whatever it may be. And it's like not giving the other people a chance. Or, oh, you've been doing analyst for this much. You're not going to be able to do marketing or IT or whatever, and it's like, you're already judging me before we even started. That's already prejudged. So do you find a lot of people bringing that to your table? Because you're the one who corrects this.
Yeah.
Your company does this. So how do we overcome that? Like, and like you said, your circle, but the circle sometimes becomes toxic.
Correct. And it really is. I think a lot of it has to do, I'm going to be honest with you. If our circle's toxic, it's something that I just was talking to my niece's boyfriend. If the circle's toxic, sometimes you got to do something different. Like you just put this on the screen. Okay. You just put teamreal.lifemanagers.com. Okay. That's something completely out of somebody's comfort zone. I say, you know what? If nothing else, it's a network of people. They come from all different walks of life. What joins them together is two things. One, they want to be on a healthier journey for themselves or their family. It may not be them. Maybe it's for their family, whatever. Okay. So you're going to see fit people. You're going to see people who care about their health. You're going to see athletes. You're going to see all kinds of people, right? Number two, they also care about things like, oh, I like to travel. Because we go all over the country traveling, right? They love travel. They love community. They come from other businesses.
Correct.
And they go, oh, I know Jessica. Oh, I know Mike. Hey, Mike, somebody just told me about this job opening. And I thought of you because I see you all the time at these events and you're a really cool dude. And I love how you, I don't know, spoke about your parents when you were talking about something. And, oh, man, I love that you were talking about this. See what I mean? And now that commonality. It's a network. Okay. How many different networking groups do you know that are out there? Thousands, right? All the networking groups, right? I go to about this many of them because so many are so superficial.
Yeah.
So give me your business card and they throw it in give me your business card. Give me your business card. Okay.
Yeah.
What I love about this community that I'm talking about, they really care about you. Like they want to see you succeed.
Correct.
So I would say, hey, Mike, you want to chat with my dude, Brandon? He's like, yeah, he makes a lot of money, millionaire, whatever, in our company, right? And he knows a ton of folks. You're interested in that? I don't know. I think he might know somebody in that industry. Maybe I could connect you to, and you guys have a conversation. I don't know what'll happen. And then you go, oh, Brandon didn't lead me to anybody. Okay, well, let me think about somebody else. I come with another person. Oh, you know what? Maybe you need to talk to Jared. Blah, blah, blah. And I throw you in the phone with Jared. You see what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, your community, your network has now expanded to the point of within that space, maybe there is someone who's going to stick their neck out, right? Yeah. How many of us stay in our same little circle, thinking this
Yeah.
is where it's going to be. We get frustrated, and so we just stay there instead
Yeah.
of expanding the circle and the network and doing something outside your comfort zone that you never thought possible. I never thought I was going to get into network marketing. I didn't think I was going to be a public speaker. I didn't think I was going to be, I didn't think I was going to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to work for the city for about 40 years
Yeah.
or be an athletic director for 40 years. I didn't
Yeah.
do either one of those for 40. I did each one for 11, just 11, long enough to get a little bit of a pension.
Mm-hmm.
Long enough to know that this is probably not where I'm going to live forever, but long enough to have a network of people in those spaces that will take care of me long term. Meaning,
Yeah.
if I need something in the city, I can pick up the phone and say, hey, listen, I want to rent this facility. I say it all the time. I want to rent this facility. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Will somebody show me the way? They're like, yes, Jessica, go on the website, go to here. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you still work for the city? You get a city rate. I'm like, I don't work for the city. Are you serious? They still think I work there, some of these people.
Wow.
Relationships.
Yeah.
When did you leave? I'm like, 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So as we come to a finalization, great. We might have to have a part 2. We might have to have this because we're on fire. No, this is very interesting because it falls on the realm that I've been going through.
Thinking
Like,
of,
I want to change. I want to change. I'm still good to go. I'm 47. I'm not
Yes.
even, I like to learn. I'm a good worker and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
now we're going to come down to salary. How do we, because once again, I'm not going to point at anybody. I'm pointing me because I'm my worst critic. I don't think I'm making the money that I'm worth, So how do we build that? How do we fight that when you like you're hired? Oh, so okay. So what were you looking for? I'm looking for 75, 80, whatever to start, right? Yeah, nah. So like, oh well, you should have, just wheeled and dealed, and that doesn't work. So how do we break that wall down? Because that's another issue. I want to keep you here.
That's a big one because I just did a consulting job, and if I would have gone with my first thought, I would have made half of what I actually made.
Bingo. Yeah.
So my point is that I seek out others, first of all, to say, okay, what do you think this talent should be paid? When I did that, they said twice what you said it at, Jessica. I said, what? What if they say no? She goes, if they say no, then say, oh, okay, I can do it for this. And I'm like, it feels awkward, right? That feels awkward to wheel and deal my worth. They're like, listen, that's how people do it today. Okay. I didn't have to. Right away, they said, okay, do you want it in a check or do you want me to put a direct deposit? I said, what? Direct deposit is great. Don't want to walk around with a check.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one thing. And that's in the consulting world. All right. When you sit in front of someone who has the set number, right? Like if you were to go work in the city or the county or anything like that, they have a set number. You start at this number and it goes to this number. Sometimes you get to negotiate a little bit, but normally it's not more than 10% at the base.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So then I have to make some decisions myself personally. How badly do I want the job? It's got to be on that person. Like, do I really want this job? To look at what the end goal can be for me in 5-10 years, because that's how, it increases, right? Do I want to take it at that salary and create something over here? Like what you're kind of, maybe this podcast becomes something that becomes revenue generating. I don't know.
I wish.
Right? Sponsors or whatever. Or I'm just using the podcast or whatever.
Right.
It's what I did with my life and journey. I'll be honest with you. I was working for the city and I began that journey while I was at the city. I kept it separate. I never did that business while I was at the city and working. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I did do was I was like, I'm going to generate something to offset what I'm not making here with other people, creating a network. Did I work a little bit more? It didn't feel like work because it was passion for me.
Correct.
It was a passion for me.
Correct.
And so those are all things that we personally have to weigh. When I felt like my worth was not being paid effectively and my stress level was too high, that's when I stepped away from the city.
Yeah. That's
okay. Now, I'm not saying I'll never go back because who's to say in maybe 5 years, I'm like, you know what? I like to get a little just easy job, and everything else is on coast and So maybe I'll be a part-time gymnastics instructor. I don't know. I used to do that too. You know, maybe I'll be a
That's
part-time coach. You know, pay me
that's
a little, you know, whatever, and I get a little bit of a benefit here, benefit there, whatever. But you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I never say never, because we're all in different phases of our lives, right?
Hmm.
And where you are right now, you feel like what I don't want to take your words, but what I've heard you
Yeah.
say is
Yeah.
you feel like you're not being paid as much as you feel you're worth.
No.
I feel like what I'm hearing you say is you're not as happy as you think you could, because marketing is a passion of yours, and that's not what you're doing right now.
No.
You're not doing all this fun stuff that you love.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like, hey, JLo is going to help you try to get down the right track. So I didn't know that I was going to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. Say that, right? For being here. I don't know. I just think there's some things and some synergies that we can maybe help move you in the right direction. But part of that is aligning and finding the right person. Listen, I just wrote in Chip's book. This latest book is The Path of Coaching, right? And the conversation is mentorship. And I believe being a mentor and being mentored are both important. Being a mentor and a mentee, super important. I am both. I've been mentored myself, so I've been a mentee. And I also am paying it forward as a mentor. That's my coaching business. It's what I do. Whether it's in my Life Balance journey, my journey with Positive Coaching Alliance, I coach other trainers up to be better trainers. I do that every day. I'm a facilitator at St. Pete College. So I help facilitate conversations with agencies and organizations to help them be better. So why wouldn't I pay it forward to you, Mike? So I think I'm going to give you a little JLo at some point, and we're going to get you where you need to go. Maybe part 2 is, hey, I'm on this New Jersey with JLo. And I'm just saying.
That's dynamic. This is cool. This is cool. This has been a great opportunity, and I thank you for your time, man. Oh, wow. There's going to be a part 2, everyone. It's going to be a part 2. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Once again, man, we can be here for hours, but I thank you for your time. I thank you for coming into the Bass Podcast. Everyone, check out Jessica JLo Perez. This is her email. Contact her. This is her website. Check it out, and she's dynamic. Let's go. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Till the next time.